Welcome back to Twin J Racing, everyone. Today we're finally going to do the wheel bearings on the dually. See, sitting behind me. Dually. We're going to do the wheel bearings. We've only been putting them off for like 2 months that I know of, and they've been bad probably a lot longer than that. At least it sounded like it, and I didn't realize that was the noise. I thought it was the tires. But we're going to do them. I promise. Maybe. Possibly. But we're closer. The truck is in the shop. So it might happen. It might not. Follow along. Find out. Let's go. Welcome back to Twin J Racing, everyone. I know we said we were doing the wheel bearings, which are just down here, but I forgot. These are bad. But when I ordered the wheel bearings, I ordered these because the hood tried to kill me last time. I had something shoved in there to hold it open, and it came loose while I was changing the oil and came down on me. When you have a bad back, that's already bad. And then you have that come down and try to hurt you even more. So we're not playing with that anymore. We're going to take care of these, and we're going to take care of these first. I mean, as you can see, Junko you can't push these in very well. And you can if you get it on a nice solid point. See, just changing one already makes the hood stay up. But we're going to change them both. Just because that's who we are. And besides that, oh, it isn't going to turn on there. We already have them. Screwdriver. Throw this in recycling before I forget about it. I'll edit this out though. Or I won't. So if I don't throw that away now, it'll be laying around the shop and I'll throw it away in 2 weeks. Alright, let's move you over to here and we'll knock this other one out real quick. And then I ain't got to worry about this anymore. But, like I said, I forgot these were bad. And when I ordered the wheel bearings, I just went ahead and ordered them. I ordered everything from Rock Auto for this job. I got Motorcraft wheel bearings, which we'll show you here in a little while. These are, I don't even know the brand on them. Stabilus. Hopefully you can read that. I don't know. They're whatever was on Rock Auto, but they weren't the cheapest ones and they weren't the most expensive ones, and they had decent reviews, I think. I don't know. I bought them because, well, even if they last a while, they're better than what I have, which is junk. Oh, this one's got a little bit in it. But that other one was completely shot. No wonder why it wouldn't stay up. Put that in the recycling. That goes there. That goes right there. See? Just that simple. And you don't have your hood hitting you in the head anymore. Well, we're going to do all the mind-numbing stuff, and we're going to put this on time-lapse. You can see me here. We're going to put this on time-lapse and get the wheel up, get it jacked up, get the wheel up, get the jack stand under, get everything ready to go. And then I'll get back with you when you actually get to something kind of important that we got to talk about. Welcome back. As you can see, we have our brand new Harbor Freight jack stand. We're like taking our lives into our own hands. They actually have updated these really nice. I got these on the Black Friday sale. I actually bent the tab in on this one, so I can... Nice TikTok or Reels trick I learned. And then the new ones all have safety pins too. So, not saying everybody's using them. Not saying I'm going to use them, but they're there. And while you're at it, you may notice this is a dually, which we've obviously talked about, but it has the bud adapter on it, and it's got nuts back here, so we have to run an extension through this hole up here, and then put the socket back here and spin this bud adapter off, so we can get the rotor, yeah, that's what it is, get the rotor and everything off, so that way we can get to the bearing eventually. We'll eventually get there. It's all buried down in here. But this is something that you got to make sure and do. And like I said, it's not hard. You got to just go through these holes and get all these nuts off. And then you'll knock this off with a hammer. And then it'll be just like a single rear wheel, in theory. But first, back to the Harbor Freight jack stand. We got to get that in place first. Then we'll worry about all this bud wheel stuff, I think. Now we're down to like a standard single rear wheel. You got all of this stuff off. That actually came off easier than a lot of the other ones I've ever dealt with. Probably helps a lot that this truck came from Georgia originally. Well, when I got it, it came from Georgia. Eh, shoot. Oh, excuse me. Looks like we need brake pads. But we can handle that. I just put new ones on the rear not too long ago. And the fronts don't look all that great. We'll get it apart and look, but we'll probably throw pads on it while we have it apart. And then when I put it all together, I'll anti-seize the crap out of it, but we're going to continue our teardown. So, just, you saw that hammer, little few lug taps, came right off. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That is definitely a bad wheel bearing. Without a doubt, that is a bad wheel bearing. But while I got you here, these are Kemplex, Kniplex pliers. 46, 10, 11 A3s. Best pliers for this job, because there's a, I don't know how well you guys can see down in there. Let me grab my light here. But there's a snap ring, and that's the worst part about this job. Way down in there. Best tool ever I found, and I honestly got it from a guy on the org, or not the org. One of my groups said, buy these pliers, they will change your life. He wasn't wrong. I actually need to buy another pair, because if you noticed, I have, from our road trip to Georgia, because I should have done this before we went, that bag there had every tool so far I have grabbed for the most part. I had everything, so if I had to do this on the side of the road, I even had both wheel bearings with me. That should have been done long before we went to Georgia. But things don't always work out the way you want them to. Look at that. I just found that inside my wheel. And we all know the wheel weight problems I've already had with it. Oh well. Can't fix stupid. Let's try to get these ears up where I can see them. doesn't help. I got it turned. There we go. It just popped. Well, not popped, but it slid in the binding of the U-joint. All right, let's lay on my cart here. Oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. It's not wonderful. I'm just repeating. Come on. See? You can get it. It's just a little aggravating sometimes. And that's a pretty massive snap ring. Oh well. What's sad is these bearings don't look that old. Well, I know they're a good 60 or 70,000 miles. I've had the truck that long. Wow. There's 4 studs. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to get from the back side. They're back in there. And you get those loose, and then you pull the whole bearing out. We gotta get those loose. We also have to pull this wire loose for the ABS sensor that goes all the way over there, because all of that stuff comes with the new wheel bearings. Now I don't have the new wheel bearings over here, but when we get all this apart, I will show you the new wheel bearings and everything, what has to be done. But first I'm going to take a video of that noise with my phone microphone. Holy crap. Don't know how well you guys can see it. There's a nut there and there's a nut down there. And we will, well, actually I gotta pull up on these, which sucks, but that's life. Next, we have to get that unplugged. You can't feel the release on it, and I know it's there, but I don't remember done enough. I thought it was there, but there's no release. I don't know. I'm going to have to get my new one out and look at it. And then we got to pull that, pull all them wires out. Oh, shoot. I broke that tab off. The top, you can see it. It's broken. I don't know if you can see it or not. And then you push this little button, and this all will come apart. And then, just to make my life easier later, well, actually, I'll leave that loose. Then we come over here. I don't know where you guys are at. We got to take this tab apart, because this part, this little plastic piece, is not part of the new. This is why we look at our new parts. This plastic piece here, or this little keeper, is not part of all the other crap they give you, but they don't give you this. So you take that apart, and then do I get that next nifty? Yes, I get the next nifty one. So we don't get that, we get everything else. So I'll go get a removal tool for this, because this is just a press in up here. Then I'll get the bolts, and then we'll have that bearing out. Not bad for a little bit of work, but we're gonna just keep plucking away at it. We've talked about this before, and we will talk about this again. Let's get you guys up here. Let me get you up here on my level. Well, not quite my level, but I have said it before, and I will say it again. The proper tools are worth their weight in gold when it comes to this kind of stuff. Get up and underneath it, pop it right out. Pop it like it's hot. And then we'll grab, we'll come over here. We got this one. Shock's kind of in the way, but okay, shock's going to be in the way, so we'll have to swivel. Pull that one, pull the bolt out, because it's going to want to stay with this even though it doesn't need to. We got this one. Somebody kind of hung the caliper a little bit in the way. Don't know who that is. Battery dead? Damn, every one of the batteries is dead. That's all I've been doing today is charging batteries. As you guys saw earlier, one of my batteries died halfway through a project. Now, before we tear that up, we'll go get a swivel. I'll be right back. Wait with bated breath. All right. Now, you can agree with me, disagree with me. This bearing's junk and it's moving. I've had to deal with a lot worse bearings, a lot tighter bearings, but this one's coming out nice and easy. Or it was. I mean, usually I'm in here with cold chisels, bending the hell out of everything, just trying to get this thing to move. Let me put this one up here. This bearing's junk anyways, so if I that right there is probably one of the easiest bearings I've ever taken out in my life. I live in the Rust Belt. They're never that simple. But whoever did it did grease it, so that was nice of them. Hang that up there, because if I don't, I'll put this all together and have to take it apart just to put it back together again. But, like I said, somebody's replaced this at one point in time. Don't know who. It's not been since I've owned the truck, but man, you can feel it. But garbage. All right, next up, trash hump. Grease on me. We'll edit that out. Ah, pizza. We got grease on me. All right, I'm back. Like a hemorrhoid. Okay, so this is what we have. I don't know, part numbers on this box somewhere. Let me bring the screen up. Okay. This is what I bought. Bought off Rock Auto, Ford Motorcraft hub, HUB-2131X, or DC3Z1104-B. It's a Ford Motorcraft. So hopefully it'll last for a while. We'll find out. Because I don't know what that hub was that was on there. I mean, it kind of looks like it was a Motorcraft. I don't know. They don't stamp them, I don't think. But you get all new studs. And a nice thick snap ring, so that makes me believe that was a Motorcraft. Anyways, and there's a new seal when you get it. You know, this is the bearing. Oh, that O-ring goes in there. They didn't put it in there. I see now. See that groove? That's where the O-ring needs to go. Put that O-ring in. Get it ready to go. Get a little anti-seize or something. Now, these are a vacuum seal hub. So, I might put a little grease on that. Just looks like what they put on it before was a little bit of grease. There's the vacuum port. Who knows, maybe when I'm done my hubs might actually work again. Probably not. And we're just going to go. Gotta do the sound effects. Put a little grease on that O-ring. Hold this in our hand, because like I said previously, if I put this anywhere out of the way, it will not get remembered. Not that I speak from experience more than once, taking it all back apart just to put this on. So if I hold it in my hand like so, and then I do that, guess what? It can't be forgotten. Well, I mean, somehow I would still figure it out. But okay. We got 4 studs. Technically 5 if I'm in the room. But we got 4 studs. 1, 2, 3, 4 studs. I'm not putting anti-seize on me. I mean, I'm sure somehow I will have it. I don't know if you guys have seen the reel or the TikTok where the guy puts anti-seize on something, doesn't get anything on him, and like the next day the anti-seize attacks him, or a week or whatever. It was funny. I enjoyed it. I laughed. Ha ha. Moving on. That's good. I can live with that. See, the old double nut trick always works. And since the dust shield is still installed, make sure when you do it that the ABS sensor is all the way at the top. Line the holes up. And just get it close to slid in. Like I said, you got the brand new. Well, if you're a smart man, which I am not, you would have done this beforehand. Snaked. Oh, okay. That's good to know. And I will explain what I just realized here in a second. If you do all this beforehand, you're even smarter than I am. But of course I don't. I do this after I slid the bearing in the first time. There you go. Anyways, what I went, okay, I realize it now, is the white part that I had still stuck on the frame up there is part of this one, not part of the old one. So we got a new one of those. And we will slide that all together. But now all of that, because this will bolt up here like this. You can't see it yet. And then these will all bolt around. Keep everything nice and out of the way of brake calipers, rotating tires, you know. Everything required to make this stuff all happen. New ABS sensors. But We gotta put the nuts on for the back side of this and run them down. And run them up squarely. I don't know what the torque spec is. I always do good and tight. And that's never failed me in all the years of doing these wheel bearings. See, no noise with this one. Nice and quiet. I am going to cheat a little bit because I can, I hope. Just run these bolts down a little bit before. No. I ran those down with that. Now I will tighten them with this to make sure they're good and where they need to be. It's easier to run all the slack out with that tool than it is to sit here and pull on this wrench. For the next step that I absolutely dread, putting this damn thing back in. Usually going in goes a lot better than coming out. Not always, but usually. I always put my hand back here, make sure that's pulled all the way forward. Open it up. Make sure that's in. And then I know I usually have a screwdriver or something around here. I will push, make sure that's tapped all the way out. And I will, usually you can get the pop out of it like that. It's usually just that simple. And then I just go around and make sure that's popped in like that. It won't allow the axle to move. And I'll get down and actually look at it. Make sure it's popped all the way in, which so your guys are going to have to go over there. Grab my light. And it's not all the way in yet. Yeah, actually it is. Nice. It is popped in. I always worry. Alright. From there, it's pretty much reverse everything we just did. I think the first thing we're going to do, work on getting all of this put back together. Well, the GoPro died, so I finished up. I wasn't prepared. Am I ever prepared? No. I got the adapter on. I still have to torque it. I gotta look up the torque spec. I've honestly never torqued one of these, but I'm gonna torque that on. If you think I abuse too much anti-seize, I live in the north and I want it to come back apart next time like it did this time. Personal preference. Some people don't like anti-seize. I'll deal with it getting everywhere if it keeps my stuff coming apart. So that's what I did there. GoPro's there, but battery died. I'd already switched it. We got a new battery in it. Yeah, there's the dead one. So we're going to call it quits on this side for now. I have to decide if I want to buy a new caliper and bracket, because one of my slides down there is a little froze up. Probably going to put new pads on it since I do have it apart, and those are probably to 1/4 of a pad, maybe 3/8 of a pad, but I just probably going to put new ones on, but I don't have them. So we're just going to got a couple little loose ends to tie up over here, like getting that piece out and putting the cable away like it needs to be. But overall, it's run like it needs to, out of the way. It won't get chewed up in a tire or something crazy. And that box is empty finally. That bearing is junk, but the old Ford will finally have the new bearings it should have had a long time ago. I didn't know how bad these things were. It's my fault. I thought it was the tires making noise, and then when the new tires didn't clear up the noise, I still was skeptical. Thought it was the new tires. And I started paying attention, and I'm like, that sounds like wheel bearing noise. And guess what? It at least was on this side, and I'm pretty sure the other side's even worse. And that's a scary thought. So figure out what I'm doing with the brakes, and I will get them on here. We'll video that once I decide what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to do a caliper. I think I'm going to take that apart, wire brush it out real good, clean it out real good. I got the ceramic slide stuff, pack it full of that, and put it back together for now. That's easy enough to change if I have problems. That's kind of where I'm at. Or spend $150 and buy a caliper. 6 of one, half a dozen the other, but if you do a caliper, then you do a brake hose, and it's just further down the spiral. I'm not in the mood for that right now. Plus, this truck's probably going to be sitting a lot this winter. I'm trying not to drive it in the salt. We got the Jeep, and then we got my rot box, so I don't know. We'll see, but when I do use this one, I hook to a trailer normally, so I don't know. We will figure it out. Or we won't. But we will. But we won't. But we will. And you will find out if you keep watching. We're going to get this adapter torqued on. I looked up the spec. It's 120 foot-pounds. Basically the same as the lug nuts. So that we're going to get that done, and then we're going to keep moving on. I got the calipers, which I know at one point in time I said I wasn't sure if I was going to buy calipers. I decided to go ahead and buy calipers. Figured it was the best idea. And put new calipers, new brake hose. We're just going to keep plugging away. I don't want any more issues with this thing once I get this all done. I want to be able to drive it, not worry about it. So I opted. I'm like, you know what? Calipers are not that much. I'll just go ahead and buy them and be done with it. You know, that was the main thing. I don't want any more. Don't want to have to work on this thing for a while, and I don't want to get it all done and then have a caliper start hanging up shortly after it's all back together and be like, oh well, you know, if I would have only done them now, let's just go ahead and do them. And like I said, you do the calipers, well, you do the brake hoses. That's just the way I've always kind of done them, especially on these newer ones. I know the 08 Ford F350, like my truck, that was one of the things that they really preached, was if you did the calipers, because those had the phenolic pistons in them. If you did them calipers, you always did the hoses because they had problems with the hoses. So I've just kind of always done that on the rest of them. As long as they have the hoses, which they do. I have both calipers for both sides, which is something we decided to do, was do both sides. And do calipers on both sides, just because, well, the slides on the other side were a little gritty and a little, I'm like, I'd just rather do them than, like I said, get it all done and be unhappy because I didn't do both sides. So my phone decides to keep going off. But that's the plan. We're going to plug away at it, get this torqued on, and then we'll get the caliper installed. And we'll talk about it more. Well, I bought a new hose, which I gotta double check, see if this is the right one for this side or not. Bought a new hose, new caliper, new pads. I bought the severe duty pads, which are supposed to be the best ones. We will see. I bought them for this because usually this, I mean, it gets driven a lot normally, but it also spends a lot of time with the trailer hooked to it. So we try to, I figure I might as well put the quote-unquote better stuff on it. We'll find out if it's better or not. But I got to compare all of this fun stuff and make sure it's right. This is the right one. I'm thinking maybe. Nope. Of course. Took a guess. Failed. It's the other one. Be right back. But I'm going to go ahead, put you guys back on time lapse. Maybe. Anyways, just a thought. I always fill my calipers, which you'll see me do probably, with brake fluid. And then I'll put the line on. Try to put some brake fluid in the line, just because that ABS module, you don't want to run it dry, and then you got to try to bleed it too, which is a lot less fun. But if you fill the lines, it's not as bad. You usually don't run it out, and you can get it bled pretty good. Usually I can even get them to gravity bleed, but not always. We're going to work on getting this side done. So I'm going to go get the other hose, swap it out, or well, not swap it out, set this on the other side and grab the other hose that I need for this side. Probably turn the wheel straight or turn it the other way so I can get this knocked out and get it ready to get bled. So that way we got to get this done. This has been in the shop too long. Not that we've really needed it, and we have the Jeep now to drive. Listen to that. No noise. That is so much better. I won't know how to act driving this thing. Get all of this done, get it driving. As you've seen, we've gotten everything done. We got the brake line done. We replaced the brake hose, which goes into there. I need to actually tap that in a little bit more. You saw me use a brake pad as a hammer, but we got the line all the way down. We gravity bled that. You didn't really see that, but I had that open. We started getting fluid out, so I closed it. So it's gravity bled to there, so less pumps of the pedal, and hopefully we won't airlock the ABS unit. New pads. You saw me use the slide grease. Highly recommend using this stuff. This stuff works really good. Ceramic extreme brake temperature lubricant. This is my second jar of it. Saw that get installed. You saw me torque this. I mean, overall, you saw me install everything. And this side is basically done. We gotta bleed the brake. When we get to that point, we gotta bleed the brake. Gotta bleed the caliper. And then we have to put the wheel back on. That's pretty much where we're at on this side. It for doing the wheel bearing install. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. Like I said, this has been down way too long. Holding. Again. All right, hold it. One more time. Hold. Well, as you saw, we bled the brakes, got all that done, got it all. We went ahead and started the truck after bled the brakes again. Made sure there was no air in the lines, everything seems good. We're going to go ahead and put tires on, get all that done, and then go test drive it. So, it's pretty much self-explanatory from here, but we'll go ahead and leave this on while I throw the tire up here. Yes, I overuse anti-seize, but I said that from the beginning. I want to make sure I can take this stuff back apart. As easy as it came apart the first time, that's the way I want to keep it. Now we'll torque them, which, I mean, let me go get the torque wrench and I'll show you. Well, actually, I don't want to get torque wrench until I set it down, so you guys get the gist of it. So that's where we're going to leave this. I'm going to go out and test drive it and see about getting it, you know, make sure everything works, but it's back together. New wheel bearings. I'm going to torque those. You don't need to watch me torque those and put the center caps back on. That's a lame brain deal there. So I'm going to get that knocked out and send her down the road. So please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow my Facebook as Twin J Racing. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Leave me a comment and we will catch you in the next one.